have some real winners in the news here today, folks. And by real winners, I mean total losers. These guys are winners at being the biggest total losers in the news. All right, here in Detroit, we've got a cop charged with killing a 71-year-old man by punching his face. A Detroit police officer has been charged with manslaughter for allegedly punching a 71-year-old man in the face outside a bowling alley during a disorderly conduct call, a blow that hospitalized the man for 3 weeks before ultimately claiming his life. According to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, the 29-year-old officer's punch knocked the elderly man to the ground, causing him to hit his head on the pavement. Idiot cop. Police officers frequently deal with citizens who are disorderly and verbally unpleasant. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy said Tuesday in announcing the charges against Officer Juan Marquise Alexander Brown that the evidence in this case shows that the officer allegedly was the aggressor. Imagine that. And his actions went criminally beyond what was necessary in the situation. Well, yeah, he killed the guy. This behavior cannot be tolerated from our law enforcement. We, the people, are sick of it too, by the way. The Detroit Police Department moved to fire Brown. Ooh, that's a good idea. An argument and a deadly punch. The charges stem from an incident about 6:50 p.m. September 1st when police were dispatched to a bowling alley on the 4100 block of Woodward Avenue for complaints about a man who was being disorderly. That was 71-year-old Darrell Vance of Detroit. According to Worthy, Brown and the man got into an argument that escalated, with Brown ultimately punching Vance in the face and knocking him to the ground. Jerk cop. Can't control himself, can't comport his feelings while communicating with a subject. And now he's in big trouble. Vance was transported by ambulance to a local hospital where he died September 21st. According to Worthy, the Wayne County medical examiner concluded that Vance's death was caused by blunt force trauma to his head from the punch. Detroit police statement. Oh, this is going to be good. After charges were filed, the Detroit police issued a statement. Mr. Brown has been terminated. That's good. From the Detroit Police Department as a result of his actions on September 1st, 2023. However, the statement continued, Mr. Brown is exercising his contractual right to appeal the termination decision. Wow. During an appeal, DPD said he would remain off the payroll. Good. And will not possess any law enforcement authority. Good. The police statement also thanked the prosecutor's office for its work on the case and said it will cooperate fully with Worthy's efforts to convict the officer. Good. Brown is expected to be arraigned at 10:30 Wednesday in 36th District Court. If convicted, he faces up to 15 years in prison. Okay, Officer Brown. Bad news, bad dude. All right. Bad apple. You know, bootlickers and blue line thugs will be like, no, those cops didn't put on their uniform that day and intend to go out and kill someone. They were just doing their job. But they did put on their goofball clown costumes and they went out and killed someone that day. They executed her for no reason because they're idiot cops. And now they're in big trouble. They've been indicted. These guys have been skating free for a little while. But these three ain't going to skate free much longer.
Breaking news now at 5. 3 San Antonio police officers have been indicted in the shooting death of a 46-year-old woman. Eleazar Alejandro Nathaniel Villalobos and Alfred Flores, a sergeant, became the center of a shooting at an apartment on Old Pearsall Road in June of this year. They were arrested 19 hours after police say they shot and killed Melissa Ann Bettis, who was believed to have been suffering from a mental health crisis at the time. KENS 5's Hannah Titi was there for the announcement from the district attorney. Hannah?
Well, Deborah, today Bexar County District Attorney Joe Gonzalez says this is a rare move, but he also said it's the right one. Now, he told us the bar is set especially high when it comes to public servants because there are certain circumstances where officers must use deadly force. But in this particular case, the DA says that the evidence shows these charges are warranted without reasonable doubt. Let's flash back to June, that is, of this year, June 23rd. Police say they received a call about a woman destroying a fire alarm at an apartment off of Old Pearsall Road. Now, police reportedly attempted to put her into a patrol car, but she ran into her apartment. Now, body camera video shows that an officer entered the woman's patio and attempted to gain entry through a window. In that video, you can hear the officer telling Melissa Pettis, "You're going to get shot." Now, police say about 20 minutes later, Pettis swung a hammer which hit the window, resulting in an officer shooting into her apartment. When Pettis swung a second time, all three officers fired their guns and killed her, that video shows. Now, after reviewing the footage, SAPD, they filed charges against all three officers, but after the district attorney reviewed that evidence, those charges have now changed. Today, a grand jury indicted two of the officers on murder charges and the third officer on aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. So let's just recap those charges. Sergeant Alfred Flores and Officer Eleazar Alejandro, both facing charges of first-degree murder, manslaughter, deadly conduct, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Officer Nathaniel Villalobos, he's being charged with deadly conduct and aggravated assault. Now, all three have been terminated from SAPD, and we're told that they've all lawyered up. We're just waiting to hear more about when this case is expected to go to trial.
Well, all right. They're in trouble, and I hope justice is served. That would be fantastic if they're convicted and sent to prison. Cops are brutal for no reason. They're trained to be, and they back each other up, and they're like a pack of dogs. And in this case, these two dogs, they're facing some charges.
Their own body cameras caught them in a violent confrontation with a Marin County gardener who had been drinking beer on a San Rafael street last year. And this afternoon, the now former officers appeared in court for the first time to face felony charges. Good evening. I'm Amma Dates.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. The I-Team's Dan Noyes has followed this case from the very beginning, and he's just back from Superior Court with the story today. Dan?
Well, Dan and Amma, it was a tense situation. The former officers and the gardener in the same place for the first time since it happened, and the gardener, Julio Lopez, couldn't take it. Marin County gardener Julio Lopez was having a beer with his cousins after a long day of work when two San Rafael police officers asked for his ID. He tried to explain in English and Spanish he had to stand to get it from his pocket, but the officers took him to the ground, breaking his nose, causing a concussion and a shoulder injury that required surgery. And today, more than a year later, after both officers lost their jobs, they appeared in Marin County Superior Court on felony assault by a public officer with great bodily injury and making a false statement in a crime report. I tried speaking with both defendants. First, Brandon Nail, who has grown a beard. Anything you want to say to the public about what you did that day? Are you ready to apologize to Julio Lopez about what you did? Any comment at all?
Loser.
Asked the other former officer, Daisy Mazariegos, about this moment when she yelled, "Stop." Stop. When you said stop on that recording, was that at
She's a loser.
Brandon or was that at Julio? Are you ready to apologize to Julio Lopez? Attorneys for both former officers gave me an idea of their planned defense.
We have ample evidence that this case cannot be proven beyond a reasonable doubt because
No, of course.
the force wasn't excessive and there were no willful misrepresentations.
Well, don't believe your lying eyes, folks.
She's very much looking forward to being exonerated.
She's not going to be exonerated. She's a loser, in my opinion, and I hope she goes to prison.
This case. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think it's very unfortunate that the district attorney has chosen to do this.
Oh, very unfortunate.
Gardener Julio Lopez had to be there as a witness.
Whoa, look at this guy. Look at this. Look at her face. She loves what they just did. They just brutally beat this guy for no reason. Just roll up on a guy and beat him. Cops, you're a bunch of knuckleheads.
But as court wrapped up, he couldn't face the former officers.
I went to the bathroom, because I don't want to see them, because I feel scary, about that. I don't want to see that face.
It's not something that he's comfortable doing at this time. He's still experiencing some of the trauma of the assault, and some things are triggers for him. And seeing the officers face to face definitely would have been that.
The preliminary hearing has been delayed for 2 weeks to work out a potential conflict of interest. It appears Brandon Nail's attorney may have represented someone who will appear as a witness in the case.
Oh, naturally. Okay, well, those cops it looks like they're going to face a little justice for being violent thugs. But who knows? I hope they do. I think they're definitely violent thugs and they should live in infamy. Thanks for tuning in to the Bad Apple Report here at home on the range. And thanks for hitting the like button. Please subscribe and share this video with your friends.